Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here. Hopefully you're having an awesome St. Patrick's Day. Remember to wear your green today so you don't get pinched by anyone. In today's GTA 5 video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 things you might not have known, including some hidden details, secret features, tips and tricks, and a whole lot more. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into this. The first thing I need to talk about is the GP1. So there was a rumor going around that the GP1 was quote-unquote broken, where if you didn't apply cosmetic modifications to the vehicle, it would go faster than a GP1 with cosmetic modifications like bumper, exhaust, etc. However, I don't actually think that's the case. So I am in no way a racing or car expert. I defer to the experts for stuff like that. So I'll leave a link to a video done by Bruffy who explains it a little bit better, but basically you don't have to worry about not upgrading your GP1. If you want to add, a bumper option or you want to add an exhaust option, go ahead and do it. It's not going to break your vehicle. I think some weird instances have been going on where certain tests have indicated that, yeah, there are some funky results, but it's really confusing. I'll leave his video in the description. He explains it a lot better than I personally can. But bottom line here is you don't have to worry about your GP1. It's not broken. Apply all the mods to you want. It's not a good car in general, as we touched on in previous videos, but at least it's not going to be broken by applying custom mods to it. Now, speaking of something that isn't broken and actually got a fix, which is kind of cool, that is the Malheur. So with patch 1.38, it introduced some major changes to the Malheur. So this info is coming from Vanilla GTA. I'll leave a link to his Twitter in the description. Basically, what has happened as the stability has been improved and the turbulence has been removed. So if you fly the Malheur now, it is essentially a smooth glass plane. Apparently, its turning ability is 2 times higher, its rudder strength is 3 times higher, and the wind/turbulence on it that it receives is completely gone. So that is incredibly cool. This actually makes the Malheur one of the most agile and user-friendly planes in the game now. So if you haven't used this in a while, which I actually think the stunt plane is kind of fun to do, like loops and tricks and all that sort of stuff, you might want to give this a second look because it is actually one of the coolest things I think I've ever done in GTA 5, flying around this plane with like no resistance. It is super cool. So give the Malheur a check out. It got some serious buff in the new patch update, which is kind of unique. Something that didn't receive a buff and actually got a nerf, and this is something I've completely missed from the first 2 videos I made regarding some of the changes that were made here in Grand Theft Auto Online. That actually has to do with the heavy sniper. So unfortunately, the heavy sniper was on the opposite end of that spectrum, and reports are that it has actually received somewhat of a nerf. Now, I am horrible at PvP combat, so you'll rarely see me using a sniper rifle or a heavy sniper in general. However, apparently Rockstar thought it was a little bit too overpowered, so it seems as if they have lessened it a little bit. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the bullet strength or the range at which it will connect and do damage, but you guys can try this out for yourself. If you are a really active heavy sniper user in P2P combat, then you could definitely try this out for yourself. Report back to me and let me know if you've noticed anything. But that is the synopsis right now, is that the heavy sniper has, for some of us, unfortunately received a nerf. So I thought that was pretty interesting that Rockstar is working with some of the weapons right there. Up next, I'm going to show you guys a pretty cool glitch and how you can actually, number 1, remove the door from the back of the insurgent, which is kind of cool, but also then get inside of the insurgent, and then number 3, use it as kind of a cool launch glitch. So the insurgent is pretty cool, and one thing you might not have known about it is you can actually open up the back door. So in order to do this, you're going to need to start shooting around the edge of the door. This can either be with a pistol or this can be with an assault rifle. It really doesn't matter. Then what you also want to do is try shooting out the windows on the backside of the insurgent. Now, once you've done that, you want to just keep shooting the door at various points. It doesn't matter if it's on the corners or towards the side. Eventually, the door is going to open up. Now, once the door eventually opens up, you're going to want to take your gun or a machine gun and then open it fully all the way. And if you want to completely remove the door, because if you just drive off, it'll like close again and then you'll be stuck in the same situation, just simply ram it into the back of a tree or a light pole, and then it it will absolutely be removed. Now, this is a pretty cool and interesting, unique look right there. So if you wanted to just drive around with that insurgent like it is, that's something you could totally do. However, there's a much better use for something like this. You can actually get inside of it. So if you want to get inside the insurgent, what you do is just go around back and then simply jump inside. And it's a pretty cool animation. Now, I don't know what to this degree you'll be protected. Like if someone starts shooting at the outside of the insurgent, will you die? It's actually something I didn't test with something like this. I'm not exactly sure how it would work in terms of protection, but it is still pretty cool, and it's something you can use to troll your friends or play around with some of your crew members. You can, like I said, get inside the back of the insurgent here. It's pretty crazy in first person. You can have your weapon out and everything like that. But what also this will allow you to do is a pretty cool launch glitch. Now, I wasn't able to get really all that high, but if you go inside and then you jump again, due to the fact that you're inside this vehicle and the game obviously doesn't want you to be in there, it'll kind of like pop you out through the roof. And if you do that, that will actually allow you to access some pretty cool locations. So I'm sure you guys could get relatively creative with this. I don't know any spots off of the top of my head, but I'm sure you could use this to do some pretty cool launch stuff. And that's also another great way in which you can get inside the insurgent as well to just do some pretty fun and exciting things. All right, up next, I saw this on my friend Fred's video the other day. This is apparently a location in which the cops simply cannot touch you. So it's located at this spot right here, right across the street from the Los Santos suburban store. And I don't know what it is about this little balcony in this area, but the cops simply can't get to you, and they don't shoot you as well. So like I said, I really don't have an explanation for why this area is what it is, but it's basically a cop-free zone where you can have as many police coming after you as possible. You can have as many stars on you as you want, and no matter what you do inside of this area, they won't be able to get to you and they won't be able to shoot to you. So you don't have to be leaned up against this fence or anything like that. You're just simply going to be inside of this area and the cops won't be able to get to you. So this is a great way to just go on like a massive, I guess, cop killing spree or do whatever you want inside there. Just kill some time in Grand Theft Auto Online by just going on a massive rampage there. So I think that's a pretty cool location. Not exactly sure why or how that works, but regardless, still pretty awesome. Speaking of things that are awesome, I'm going to show you guys this launch glitch that actually takes place at the Vespucci Canals. What you're going to want is a bike, and then you're going to want to just drive your motorcycle into this hedge that is right next to these tennis courts. And if you do that, you should actually go flying, which is pretty crazy. So what you want to do is right before you hit that, you want to do a wheelie. And if you do it correctly, it should send your character flying off into the air. And it's also pretty cool because your character won't die too, which means you can basically just do this over and over and over again. So you can try this launch glitch out for yourself, or you can try it with some friends. It's pretty fun. You guys can try and see who can go the farthest. I think that would be a pretty fun competition. Up next, 2 changes that Rockstar have actually made. Up next, you know the other day I talked about how Rockstar didn't have the option to turn off custom vehicles in the new stunt races. Well, it looks as if they have finally added that. So this is an image that FunMW2 retweeted the other day, and you can clearly see there's now the option to turn on or off custom vehicles in the special vehicle races, which is kind of cool. And like I said, will allow some players to level the playing field. So that information is overall pretty positive to me. Up next, 2 things I can tell you guys about the Rocket Voltic in terms of strategy here. Number 1, don't use the thruster while going at terminal velocity. I think that's the scientific term. Basically, when you're going as fast as you can in the Rocket Voltic, which would be going down slopes, don't use the thruster. That's going to slow you down. The thruster actually has a max speed at which you can travel with it, and if you use it, it will slow you down rather than allowing you to speed up. So you only want to use the thruster in applicable situations and when you're either going uphill or something like that, etc. And also on the Rocket Voltic races, I didn't know this, but when you're going over the yellow boosters, you don't have to hold down the thumbstick. As long as you click it once and then you just keep going over the yellow boosters, you don't have to hold it down. I was like complaining about my thumb hurting from having to click all that much, but in reality, all you have to do is click it once and then your rocket thruster will be utilized in an unlimited fashion, which is actually a whole lot better. So I'm glad I figured this out. Only took me 2 days, but it's definitely going to save my thumb a lot of wear. All right, so you guys know that adversary mode I was talking about the other day, the one that kind of reminded me of Vehicle Vendetta and Power Play? Well, Foxy Snaps has actually found some props for that adversary mode. And I'll show you guys the video on the screen right now. It's pretty cool. Like I said, there's a bunch of little icons. Reminds me of Mario Kart. And then there's a bunch of coins that you can collect as well, like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. There's a bomb, a rocket, you know, a gun, a parachute. There's a whole lot of different icons on there, so this is really cool, and this is going to be for one of those upcoming adversary modes that we should hopefully be seeing in the game sometime soon. So that has gotten me pretty excited right there. And even though I don't love all the adversary modes, I think that one is cool enough where I should enjoy it, especially if it's very similar to Vehicle Vendetta. And finally, last but not least today, this comes from a user Rex, and apparently he has found some crazy changes that were made to the parachuting jobs. Now, I can't tell you how often I do parachuting jobs, but apparently there's new launching sites. So instead of jumping from a helicopter, in this one, which is called Leap of Faith, you just start on top of like the mountain and you jump off. But what's even more interesting is the animation when you land. This seems like a brand new animation that Rockstar has put into the game. Now, this would be cool if they added this to like the sort of actions that we can do. Like, look at this girl. She's doing some like crazy dance, and then she's getting fired up at the end with some celebration thing. I don't know. Why can't we do those sort of animations in free mode in Grand Theft Auto Online? I thought that was cool enough to share in this video. Thank you to him for showing that off in this video today. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys. 10 pretty cool things you might not have known in Grand Theft Auto Online, including some tips and tricks, hidden details, and overall things you just might not have known. As always, my goal with videos like this is to hopefully teach you at least 1 or 2 new things that you might not have known. If I did, then my job is certainly accomplished. And if that was the case, be sure to drop a like on the video. That would be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.